Okay, all right. Hello, friends, colleagues, pranksters, gangsters, laughers, toppers, all y'all. How y'all doing out there? Mappers, flappers, gappers. I'm here for it all. I'm here to tell you about the wonderful world of art. You know, back in the 1970s when art was first invented, it had a odd odor to it, and most people didn't actually believe that it was real because in order to think something odd, you have to first give it name. Without a name, something just has a hard time existing. So it took them a while, but they finally figured it out. And on the other side of that name was a man, or a person, or some kind of thing. But his name was Arthur P. Wellington, the very first artist. And then after that, I kind of forget what happens. And then here we are today. Just in case you're wondering. It's easy to get lost in the mix, in the fray. It's easier to bat with the ball in heaven instead of with the hound dog in hell. With a hot dog in hell. That's what I heard. So I just stick to what I know. Chewing bubble gum and kicking ass. Yeah. That's what I do best. For starters, I'm an ass kicker. And for thirds, I actually am very, very fond of chewing bubblegum. Oh boy, when I was a kid, I was just fierce. I was a fierce little son of a gun. And that's why I've got 3 notches on my belt. 3 kills, if you will. It wasn't my fault. I had to defend myself. The 80s. 80s were a different time. On that note, I think it was a B minus. Everything went haywire after that, so I didn't really pay attention anyways. And then there was a band that came out like 3 years later called Haywire, and I was like, is that a coincidence or, come on. Oh. Hello. Hello, Plays. I'm going to call you Plays. And I'm going to always say it just like that, just so you know. Almost like it's players. And I think that's what it's supposed to sort of sound like. Players. I like that. I dig it. I can dig it. Hello from Gambia. Whoa. Where's Is that on the moon? Your name is Fraggle Rock? You know, I grew up in a time when Fraggle Rock was actually on TV. I remember that show, and I remember thinking it was really cool. So, welcome. No, I don't think so. I think scientists actually proved that Africa and isn't actually a continent, it's actually a moon, and it's actually orbiting planet Earth. That's why it takes so long to get there. But in the sense, that's why Russia is a lake. And in the United States is actually a chicken farm. And just nobody ever talks about this kind of stuff, Fraggle. It's the truth, I tell you, I would never lie to you. I would never lie to you twice in one day in front of your friends. Because I don't have any friends, and I'm just always lying and telling the truth. I'm a joker. I'm a smoker. I'm a midnight toker, Fraggle. I was put here to do 2 things today: chew some bubblegum and kick some ass. Oh, golly gosh darn dang. But we're all in it together, so I gotta refrain from doing that. I gotta stay out of prison. Gotta stay out of jail. That's the best thing to do. How am I gonna feed my kids if I'm in prison? I mean, I don't have any kids, but if I had some, I would want to feed them, right? I'm kind of confused. I'm just lost in the fray, but I think that's what it's all about anyways. Getting lost in the fray. Yeah, no. You should be my friend. I'm a good friend to have. I have standards, Fraggle. I don't falter. I'm not a crumbling hillside. I'm a rock that the ocean has been beating on for 40,000 years, and it still has yet to make a frickin' dent. And I'm a coward. I'm a Weasley little coward. Mostly that. Yeah, that's actually kind of true. I'm a coward, Fraggle, Fraggle, you know I'm a coward on YouTube for you. Fraggle. And that's why everywhere I go, I try to make friends. I think that's important. I think you're onto something. I think you're absolutely onto something. And I don't mean like you're on something like a drug or something. If you are on something, that's fine, right? Right? Because I'm on. You know what I'm on? I'm on the key of C, bro. I am on the key of C. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds kind of cool. It's a musical term, but I'm using it in a different way. And I'm being a dork. Somebody pops on and they start chatting, and I just become like a bag of Looney Tunes. It's not my fault. I was raised by the skin of my chinny chin chin. Doesn't make no much sense anymore, does it? Oh my gosh. Somebody gets me. Somebody absolutely gets me. And it's about time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Fraggle, absolutely. That song was for you, just so you know. And now it is an echo, an absolute echo, that is filtering in the eyes and in the ears of eternity. Or Eternia, if you're a He-Man fan. Masters of the Universe, anyone? I don't know why I'm talking like this. It's quite annoying. It's hard to do. I don't know why. But I do know this. I do know I forgot. Absolutely forgot. I'm just going to put a little window right here. Some kind of window. And now all this side is almost done. See? Thank you for the nice words, everybody. I appreciate it. Hello, Valid. Valid Raw. Hello. Valid. ¿Cómo se dice hello in español? I absolutely forgot. I know it starts with an H, but the H is silent, so I don't know exactly how to say it, right? It's kind of confusing. Is it hola? Hola? That would be quite insulting. Can you imagine going down to Mexico and saying that? That'd be like saying, yeah, get me a bag of them tortillas over there. You know? It's like, and you get your fucking head cut off or something. I mean, yeah, I'm not supposed to cuss on the shitty channel. Hey, Terry? Yeah. Can you, yeah, open the fridge. Yeah, is there water or anything in there? Oh, what is that, a head? Just the door. I don't want to see that. Just, whose head is that, Terry? I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we should do something about that. Yeah, I'll take care of it. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate that. Terry's my producer. He's always cleaning up the messes. He does God's dirty work. God bless him. So here I'm drawing angry spaghetti wings. I haven't gotten to the wings part yet, but it might take me a long time to get there. It might take me 20 seconds. I don't know. Well, Alexis, I'm not exactly sure if that is a question or an answer that you just transmitted onto my screen there, into the chat. But I know one thing. You are going to live forever, God damn it. And I and you are living proof of that now. We're all going to live forever and we're all going to die very shortly, anyways. But hell, we might as well enjoy the ride. Thank you. Absolutely. Hallelujah. Amen. All right, everybody. Now, if you wouldn't mind flipping to page 3, the cult classic zine that I put out for everybody. You in the back. Why aren't you picking yours up? I can't read. You can't read? Oh, well, you might want to start learning. That's fucked up. Even cult master leaders know when that was just a little fucked up. But you in the back, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. That's okay. No, it's not. That's not okay. No, you're right. It's okay. Okay, thank you. Go back to sleep. I love my children. So grateful. So very grateful. Thank you, everybody. Luna! Oh my goodness. Luna's writing all the way from moon base 13. I've always been jealous of that. Talk about interdimensional beings of beauty and love. Oh. Funny time coming across all you in the 4 billion years that this planet's been around. Of course, how many times have we come in on each other before for now, right? I don't know what that means, but I think it means, because it sounded quite sexual. I wasn't trying to do that. What I think what it means is that what goes around comes around, and we've all been here and done this before in different ways, in different shapes, in different forms. We've been bouncing off each other for billions of years, all throughout eternity, and in the midst of gravitational poles and black holes that rip us apart and back and forth all throughout. Oh my god, that was my cat. I thought some kind of raccoon was going to attack me head. What the devil? Still could be one. She collects body parts up there in the hood above my head. My cat is the devil, I tell you. And I am a better man for it. Anywho, I don't remember what I was saying. Something about space and black holes, but here we are, nonetheless. How are you, Luna? It's very well to see you. Remember, Evo? Not sure, MacGuffin. I'm not sure. When somebody says that, it makes me think, why are they saying that? You know what I mean, right? Because you just did it and I just said that, right? Something like that. I do. Your name does sound familiar. I broke the 17th wall just for you, my friend, MacGuffin. Oh gosh. I got a new pick the other day. A new guitar pick. I don't know if it's gonna work, but here, check this out. I'm not sure if it's gonna work though. 1 second. I don't know if just 1 second. It might not, hold on. It might not work, hold on. Oh shit, see? That's something like that. That's just when the pick turns the corner and you just can't help but go with it, and your shoulder goes out. Like, whoa, 25% of you goes one way and the other part goes the other way at a rate of about 7 miles per hour. And in England, I don't even know what that is, because I've never been. Have you? Right? Luna's our moon base 13. Luna, how's it going over there, my girl? There's so many things I want to say about it, and I don't want to go to hell no more. Moon base 13 rocks. I went there back in the 60s, and holy cow. There was a big ass cow, a bovine, named Betty. Sweetest milk this side of Mississippi Delta. Yeah, that's right, they have a Mississippi Delta on the moon as well, a big crater. Named after a Johnny Cash song, we call it Sue. Alright. And that's where we milk our cows, because it's at a lower altitude than it is on the rest of the moon. That crater's so deep, so damn deep. And the milk just gets a little bit sweeter at the bottom of that crater. Everybody's talking about it from here to Mars. Those chickens are quite angry because there's no gravity on the moon. Not as much as you think anyway. So those chickens just fly off and they just go right into outer space where they're picked up by other little chickens from other planets far, far away. Something along those lines. Which is true. I imagine there's a race of intelligent chicken beings out there, just going through the cosmos, and they're going to come across our planet one day and destroy us all. I mean, I would. I mean, that'll be probably like the ninth or some ninth time we have gotten wiped out already, but I don't know if anybody else knows this, but we've been wiped out several times. This is nothing new. I'm just waiting for like some kind of bomb to fall, like rock bottom, just some kind of rock bottom to fall and squash us all. And I guess it sort of is already happening, but it's more like just in slow motion. Anyhow. Yeah, me too. I'm reading your comment. I'm glad you're here too. I've been good. Preparing for an art show and procrastinating on my taxes and stuff. When is it pushing around? Playing like I know the guitar. That's funny. I hadn't thought about that. Then by the 60s, I would have lived in, or I would have loved being in ashram, cult, meditating and talking, Christ consciousness, free. That would have been an interesting time to do it. But there's if you know where to look nowadays, there's a lot of. I think nowadays it might be even just a little bit safer because it's had time to resonate a little bit longer, and the people back then that were dedicated to like more esoteric and like just like just Gnosticism sort of stuff, maybe there a lot of them have aged very well. I don't read very much, but I listen to like these podcasts and they talk with these people, and some of the stuff I've been listening to lately has just been blowing my freaking mind. Like they can articulate things that I've only been able to barely even peripherally kind of conceive of, because like you can feel things sometimes, but you can't put a word to it. You can't describe it, like an experience, and but it's real, it's tangible too. It's very almost like physical, and sometimes there's just not a word for something, and so these people have been coming along lately and like giving me those words, and it's been quite liberating because I'm realizing more and more now, because I always thought that I was born too late. I'm 45. I was born in 79, so I always grew up thinking, oh man, that was like the best. That would have been the best. But this time right now really is one of the most incredible times to be alive. I mean, I know there's a lot of obviously there's pain and suffering going. I'm not trying to deny that, um, but that's always going to be there. That's that's a part of life. And but there's a lot of stuff going on these days with great thinkers who have gotten older but still have the same principles and a curious mind, and are able to go deep and write about it and articulate it in ways that I can't even. God, I mean, the things that they say, the words that they use, I wish I could just pull over, because I listen to them when I'm driving, and I want to pull over a lot. and just Google this word or something they just said. I used to do that when I was young, when I actually did read books. I just don't have time to sit and read anything anymore. But I also have this thing where if I just, no matter what I do, if I sit still and I just start like reading a book, where doesn't matter where I am. It could be at a park. It could be in the car as I'm reading a book on the freeway. I mean, I'm just kidding. But I just start falling asleep. As soon as I start, my eyes start hitting that paper. No matter what, if it's instruction manuals, if it's reading like the inventory thing at work, an invoice maybe, I just start getting all tired and it's insane. It's almost like a kryptonite or something. Like, oh my God, somebody help me! I've been up for 2 weeks. I need to sleep. Here, read a book. What kind of book? Any book. And it'll just put me out like a light. Anyways, yeah, I think I've heard of the S. Institute. Well, but there's also like the Monroe Institute and all these sorts of places too, where you can have like, it's geared, I think, towards influencing out of body experiences. And the stuff that the stuff that we're finding out these days with the use of certain psychoactive through certain active psychoactive methods, like whatever, um it it and people are coming back and telling their stories almost like as if it were like a life after death experience or something, with all the archetypical uh scenarios put in place, like the tunnel and the light and the feeling of being warm and fuzzy and somebody being there that's like, even like sometimes it's a higher power, sometimes it's like family member or like an angel type feeling or guardian, but you just feel safe or something. Other people, have different experiences, I'm sure. But um I think it's hard to talk about this kind of stuff because what I think is really strange, and I feel like what I really believe down to my being is that things are going to change very soon, like in a big way, and we're not going to be prepared for it at all. I mean, we thought COVID was something and that kind of stuff or whatever, but I feel like what's coming just around the corner is going to be bigger than anything, and we're not at all prepared. But there's something that's been coming here and like lighting some of us up and showing us and preparing us for something and like a great change or something. I don't know. That's what it feels like to me, and that's what my dreams tell me. And sometimes it's kind of scary to think about, but other times it's obviously just a part of. I think the human in me is scared, but the spiritual whatever part of me is just ready as well. Always has been in a way. Just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna do this again. It's just such a weird feeling to have, like all the time too. Right, like with my art, for example, how I feel like I can just tap into something that is just sitting there waiting for me to tap into. I don't really have to even think about it. It's as if the drawing was already here, and this is me drawing it right now is just an afterthought, which it is. If Because it's being recorded and it's going to be played later. This is the only time it's ever going to be live, so it's always just going to be a. This drawing will be, probably burned in a pile or something like that, but these videos will go on for as long as YouTube is a thing, or as long as my channel isn't taken away. I don't know. I'm just blabbing. Yeah, that's what it feels like. The end of an era, like a great shift is coming. But that's why I'm saying this kind of stuff has happened plenty of times. Like, I think there was kind of like maybe, and people say the name was Atlantis or whatever, but I'm fascinated by that kind of stuff, and it's more of so like maybe that it was a culture as opposed to like just one place. Even though there was probably a hub that got destroyed when the cataclysm happened, the culture was all over the world, and like that's why these huge monoliths and structures are just everywhere, and they're all just ancient as ancient can be, and then the little peons later, the remnants of these peoples like picked up the pieces and did what they could, but it was never the same after that. It was probably like we lost our frequency in our brain, and we couldn't even like manipulate the world like we used to anymore. So I feel like we used to be able to use our brains a lot differently back then, and that's why artists were doing some of the things that they were doing. Plus, they were using psychoactive things to activate their minds and you know develop their cultures and their archetypes and you know their gods, which I find also just like so freaking fascinating. I know exactly. That's funny you should say that, the peaceful revolution thing, because it's like that's what Bernie. It's like Bernie Sanders was. I was a Bernie dude, but when it came down to it, it's like he was talking about revolution and all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, you've got to like try a lot harder like than what you're doing, man. Like, come on. And he just like gave in, and it was just like there was no revolution at all. It was just, now you've got to vote for Biden, the guy who was trying to ruin your life in the 80s and take away your social security. And he worked close with Republicans to fuck over the working class, and he was accused of rape, and he was accused of all sorts of horrible shit. Plagiarized the presidential speech in the 80s. But now he's the guiding light because the other guy's worse. And that, even though that may be true, doesn't mean they're not, part of the same stupid ass tree. That's the revolution that they wanted us to sink our teeth into. So it's true. There's never been a revolution without bloodshed. A true one, anyways. I'm sure there's like revolution cologne or something that you can spray on yourself and there's no bloodshed or something like that. Revolution cologne. It's in the blood. Wow, you're like everything you're saying, Alexis, is right up my alley. By the way, I've been sort of feeling all of that kind of stuff. I, I I'm just not good at articulating it because it is an ebb and flow, and it's like some days I'm like really peaceful and I don't let anything bother me. Nothing harms me. Kind of everything bounces right off, and then the next day I'm just a raving, angry mess or whatever, or letting everything get to me or take everything personal. Like I was telling a friend though, it's easier now more than ever that I'm older to shake myself out of that stuff because I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I only have so many more years to go before I'm dead. Like I never thought I'd live to see 40 or 30, let alone 40. And I'm 45 now, so there's this sense of urgency that is always at the tip of my tongue, uh, that pushes me in a creative direction because art has always been my great outlet. And when I say always, I mean as long as I've been alive, art was just my thing, drawing and doodling and stuff. And it's when I'm making art is when I feel like I can speak to the gods. I know that sounds stupid maybe, but it's how I do it in a sense. It's how they notice me. And sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad, but I don't look at it like that anymore either. It's like a bad trip, good trip kind of thing. It's like, well, they're just both experiences, and it's important to have both and to know that the world isn't going to roll over for you. It's going to fight you, it's going to hate you, it's going to try to kill you, even. And you got to make a choice at some point. What you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? But I've been really digging into my psyche and listening to. There's that you should listen to a, or if you know any good. I mean, I always get recommendations to watch stuff, but I just don't have time. I'm just always frantic to do stuff. But there's a dude named Michael David, I think. He, he does a podcast called Third Eye Drops, and he has like these amazing conversations with these people that are kind of what you're talking about is similar to what well they talk about, and then some. we must we must do that, but it's and I that's what I think is that happening is that there are people that are, and then there's other people. There is going to be kind of like a purge or whatever. What do you call it? Like the people think that they people are just going to be like disappear or whatever, left behind or whatever. I can't remember what that's called. Um, but in a way, I think that that's true. That something will happen like that because there's people that are like becoming aware of th- our potential, I think. And then there's others that are just the best way to look at it is the matrix with the, there's people that are still plugged in, and then there's people that are free, and they're, they got out of Plato's cave and they're trying to, wake everybody else up. But those people that are still plugged in will fight them tooth and nail. Fight, they'll kill you before they like stop believing in those shadows, you know, because that's their reality, and they they can't be confronted by the truth sometimes because they can't handle the truth. But all it is Plato's cave. Everything is, in a sense, it's all an illusion. But the people who try to convince people that it's happening are the ones that get stoned to death. If you're just coming in, I'm talking. We're talking about all sorts of cool stuff. Hello, Peachy. I like that. I like that name. I've been trying to stay in a higher frequency, but I drink a lot of coffee. I don't take good care of my body, and I feel like once I start respecting my body more and getting better exercise and all that stuff, yada yada, that's when I feel like I could start tuning the frequencies to figure out what's going on around me better. But it's always interesting to me that how much one can know without even knowing that they know. Then once it happens, whatever that thing happens that happens, you're just like, oh yeah, no, I've always sort of been prepared for this moment. You never knew why until that moment happened, or what you were even capable of until that moment happened. It's true. And it's those people that are still plugged in that can also help you um, understand reality as well, because they can. It's because of people like that that when I was growing up, people that were just plugged into the system, just this rigid way of being, they they forced me because I was able to. They were telling me one thing and doing another, and they forced me to confront my own self, like because they were the ones that were raising me, like my dad's side of the family, like kind of like dicks. They went to church and stuff, but they weren't church like people. They were just miserable, angry people. And um, I don't know, but it, I guess my point is that sometimes you need examples of what it's like or who you're never going to be like. You need examples like that and how I would see if somebody's treating somebody bad. If you ever look at like the victim of somebody being berated, like you know, at a restaurant, like if somebody's getting like chewed out for dropping a casserole or something, I don't know. But you just look at the person's face and I don't know. I'm losing my, I'm losing it. I just think compassion goes a long way. Compassion is cool, I think. So is ice. Ice is cool. It's cold. Ice is cold. Straight up. Hell yeah. Anybody want some ice? It's a pretty big drawing. Yep, I agree. And it's not easy. It's not easy to. It's something to always strive for, I think, because I've found that it's very hard to just be, to sustain kindness. It's one of those things, that if you're, it's like when you're driving or whatever, and you just go out of your mind for a little bit. It's like one of those things where you don't even remember the last 4 miles. You were just in a trance or something. It's kind of scary, but kindness can be like that too, because it can kind of sweep you off your feet. But every once in a while, you also need to be reminded that you're not doing it for other people. Sometimes, obviously, you are. You're holding a door open for an old lady or something. You're doing that for that person, obviously. But I'm not a nice person because I want to be known as a nice person. I try to be kind just because that's who I am. Everything else is just small potatoes. But from that comes, all the goodness in life. It's love, Harry. It's love. Ooh, it sounds like there's a football game or something tonight. I can hear speakers in the high school. Compassion. Compassion is the key. Compassion. Compassion, you and me. Everybody dancing. Everybody going outside. Gonna go out riding by. Oh, compassion. For you and me. 1, 2, 3, yeah. On that note, I'm gonna go compassion my pillow. Which is a hug. I'm gonna go compassionate my pillow. I'm gonna give my pillow a hug. I hope everybody has a good night. Hope you're safe. You take it easy, Alexis. Cheers to you, Alexis. Yeah, thank you, Zach. And anybody else that's still there, I appreciate the likes. Dang, I wasn't expecting that. And Luna, if you're still there, thank you so much. Darling, you be good over at Moonbase 13. I'll be cheering for you. I'll be watching from here, you know. You guys have an event going on over there tonight. I don't know what's going on. Those lights are going bright up into the sky and the stratosphere. I don't even know. Does the moon have a stratosphere? I don't even know. But I'm here. On the first line of defense. Moonbase 14. Storie Grubb, over and out. Mostly out. Okay, cheers. Y'all be safe out there.